Hello and Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to DWIT 3D Canada 2022. Wow, we are here already. Isn't that great? There's a lot of people online that have been waiting around a long time. Is it me or is that camera blurry? Let me just double check something here. Oh, that's because I have it on 720p on my own computer. There we go, but I think it's pretty sharp. Happy New Year, everybody. Let me know if that's a bit blurry or if I have to focus. It looks pretty sharp to me, but hey, what do I know? So, wow, lots of people waiting around already. Lots going to happen this year. I hope everybody had a really good holiday season. I'm looking a little bit above because there's chat and the camera here, so it's an odd angle for me, so I'll have to get used to this. So, but if I want to look right into the camera, it may creep you out a little bit, though. So let's see who's in chat. I want to say hello. So I got my chat screen up over here, and I got another one over here, but this one's bigger. I don't have to worry about what I can and can't see. Let me say hello to whoever's in chat. Let's see who are the early hangouters. Jerry tends to be always first. So hello, Jerry, Brendan Wilson. We have Shane, Stephen Poole, Karen Clark. Welcome. Liam, Astro Printer SPC 3D, Audra Murphy, hello, and boom, 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 Stephen Poole, I think I said that. Matt German is here, Tron is here, hey Tron, and I think Stephen Poole said it earlier, no blood in 2022, I agree with that, so we're going to try and do no blood, no burns. I'm not even going to put that little incident thing up anymore, so Milan is here, 3D Printing Newbie, and Non-Fam is here. If I miss your name, forgive me. Carl Fenton is here. Boy, lots of people here. SPC 3D. Who else has popped in? I'm just whipping through the chat here. I'm not reading the chat. Looks like plenty of people around with no life to watch a stream, says Kieran. Well, I'm glad. Bardicus is here. Hello. Who else? Who have I missed? Critic 482, I see. Boy, oh boy, I don't want to miss anybody, but hey, it's going to happen. Bear, hello, welcome, Bear. Breaking Elegance is here. Chris Mink. Oh, running down the list here. Who did I miss? We have SK. Where'd you go? It was SKL. Oh, Sergeant Killex is here. Yes, Tripod. John, hey, howdy. Mika Steve is here. Bill Blight is here. Built Over Bot, Dougal, ST3D Printing, and I think I've said hello to everybody. Wow, that's a big list to go down. We have 21 people on stream. Awesome. Great for the first stream of 2022. We have 21 in 2022. Can I get 22 likes right away? I've got 22 likes. Wow. So this is meant to be. Okay. So we're going to start... we're going to start with something I think pretty simple for 2022. I'm trying a different camera angle here, as you can all see. I've got this camera angle. I've got another camera that's going to be pointed on what I'm working on the bench. So this is the Ender 3 V2 that we're going to work on tonight a little bit. You can see in the background, yes, that is a Focus Odin in a rat rig. So I needed to move the Odin out of my way for a little bit, so I just parked it in underneath the rat rig bed. It does fit. I could pretty well fit any of my printers under that bed. Then I have the close-up cam view, this is the camera that's sort of just in behind this printer right now that I'll be using. And then I do, for some occasions, I'll do a split view, so you can see a few different things that's going on. And again, I have my overhead camera as always, which is there. So. But yeah, so we're going to see how this goes. Stream Beats, I have looked into Stream Beats, Dougal. That tune you heard at the beginning and my countdown timer was a Stream Beats tune. I wanted to figure out how to put music in the background of my stream while I'm working on the printer, but I couldn't figure out how to do that yet. I don't know if I need a third app software or how to, anyways, I'm hoping to get that ready for next week's stream that I can actually play a little bit of light background music, because it kind of takes away from those uncomfortable quiet times when I'm working and I don't look up to read the chat and there's no co-host on with me. It's like dead air, right? So if I had a little bit of background music, I know a few other YouTubers do that now with the background music. But I got to figure out how to do that. So one step at a time. I've found Stream Beats, and I'm using Stream Beats now because a few of my tunes for my Christmas giveaway last year. It's weird to say last year, isn't it? A few of the tunes for my Christmas giveaway, I got copyright, not strikes, they're called copyright notices or whatever you want to call it, copyright, anyways, where they said, hey, you're in copyright, this video isn't monetized, blah, blah, blah. I did fight them because of where they came from. They came from Canva. I pay for a Canva Pro subscription. That Pro subscription allows me to use their music in one video. So I did fight them and I did win, but it's a hassle. So it wasn't a copyright strike. It was a copyright notice or whatever they call it. So yeah, but I won it, but I don't want to have to go through that each time I do. So Stream Beats is the way to go because from what I understand, there's no copyright issues at all with Stream Beats music. That's what it's for. So here we go. Paul Cumber's here. Happy New Year. Red Light is here. Maria Webster is here. Yay. Hello, Maria. Nice to see you on stream. Everybody show Maria some love. She had a great Christmas and she was so good to me over Christmas. And I'm excited for another year with her, with my beautiful wife and son. So that's going to be awesome. So you get those a lot, Jerry. Yeah. So and again, the first time I got one, I removed the section of video with it because it was just a countdown thing. But the second time I thought this is crazy because I'm supposed to be able to use this. So I fought it and I won. But again, it's a hassle. And it takes copyright claim. Yes, that's what it's called, a copyright claim. And so I won the next two, which is fine. But while you're filing that grievance or whatever you want to call it on the claim, your video is not being monetized. So it's, I don't know if they then backgrade it. I mean, I might have lost, a few cents, not a big deal. So anyways, so what we're doing is we are going to, I love you too, Maria. There you go. We're going to work on the Ender 3 V2. I decided I want to do a little bit of a series because I think a lot of people might have got, everybody on my stream right now pretty much knows the ins and outs of these printers. But with the Ender 3 V2, I think a lot of people might have got 3D printers for Christmas, and they probably got either an Ender 3 V2 or similar. Basically, all the other little printers you can get out here in this size are pretty much clones of this, or this is a clone of others or whatever, but they all pretty much operate pretty much the same. So I wanted to do a series on things you can do to enhance your Ender 3 V2 or your 3D printing experience with just a few minor little upgrades that are going to help you down the road. So that's what we're going to sort of focus on tonight. Yeah, let's see. I see Dan popped in. Hey, Dan, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Awesome. So did not know you could use hymns as backgrounds. Yeah, my stream needs prayers for sure. So anyways, I decided to do this series live as well because, as you all know, that's kind of my thing with my streams is that I like doing things live because I like people to see that if I make a mistake, I don't want to edit it out. Whoa, hang on. First one of the new year. Here we go. Super chat. Chris Mink, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I appreciate it. Everything that gets super chatted, any donations through PayPal go directly into the channel that allow me to enhance things like my camera, different things, different ways that I can try and improve my channel. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. So yeah, so I like doing these things live because I want people to see that, yeah, I'll make mistakes. I don't want to edit out a mistake. I want to keep the mistake in there. And people can say, oh, well, look, he screwed that up or something, but here's how it got fixed. And you guys out there may have different ideas of a different way for me to do something. So, because what I'm doing may not be the best way to do it. It's just the way that I've done it. I have three of these Ender 3 V2 printers. I've done some modifications to pretty much to all of them, but the only modification I've done to this one so far is I've taken the glass bed that comes with it, which is this one here. It's a 235 by 235 bed. I've taken this off and I've put on a flexible magnetic flexible plate because I prefer flexible magnetic plates. These beds are great. I like these, but we may in this series be trying a different kind of glass bed that a company has sent me last year to do a review on. So I may tie that in with this Ender 3 V2 enhancement series. And I'm calling it an enhancement series rather than improvement because from the factory, this is a decent printer. So this thing works really well. As I say, the only thing I've changed on this is the bed, and this thing has printed some amazing prints for me. So that in the countdown timer, you probably saw one of the videos that showed up a couple times with that first layer going down. That was this printer that was laying down that first layer. So it does an incredible job. So, and now do you want to know the easy way, Tim? Yes, that t-shirt coming soon. So, and if Jason's on the stream, he's going to be saying that a lot. So anyways, first thing I want to start with on this for the enhancement, and oh, sorry, I'm going to back up a bit. What I want to do as well is take this live video, leave it on YouTube, on my channel, for people to watch so they can see what's going on. But then I also want to, down the road, within a week or two of making this live stream, is I want to then take that video down, edit it into a shorter version of this, cutting out all my chit chat, cutting out all my looking and responding to chat, just so people, if they want to watch it, it'll just be like to this, to this, to this, and I'll index it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's what I'm going to try going forward into 2022 and see what happens. Well, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up this year, and we can talk about it as we go along this stream. So Ben Brady is on. Hey, Ben, how you doing? And I see Local Maker is on. And who else came on new since then? I haven't chat. If you want to ask me a specific question in chat, please tag me in chat, because I can basically see out of the corner of my eye the big red square that comes up with my name in it, and I'll know to go up there and look at that and either answer the question or laugh at the comment or tell Kieran to behave himself, one of the two. So so Jerry is saying to try this, play this in another screen. Okay, let me click that link. Oh, I see. Okay, sign up with Twitch. Okay, I'll accept the license agreement. I don't want that, and I want to hear new. Yeah. Okay, let me try this, Jerry. So I assume this is the music thing. So we'll sign up here. I've read and accepted. I'm allergic to pretzel. What? Marketing materials, please don't send them. Whatever. Okay. Okay, something went wrong. Maybe I'll try it in a little bit. I want to get going on this, but hang on one sec. Let's just see. This, find out more. No. Yeah, it's asking me to do a whole bunch of stuff. I'll look into this on my next stream. So we stream this on Twitch. Okay. Well, I'll have a look and see afterwards. So Guy on Moose RC's Adventures, welcome. Just got a PEI spring steel sheet last week. Game changer, aren't they? They are great. This particular one, the brand is BQ, BIQU, and it's super thin. It's very thin and double-sided. Works really well for me. So works extremely well for me. Free tabs only, no reason to pay. Okay, Jerry, I'll look into that for sure. And then ST3D or SI3D Printing says, I cannot imagine needing Kieran Clark to behave. Aussies are very well-behaved people. Yes, sure. I'll believe you. Anyways, okay. First thing I want to talk about on this printer as we move forward is, I have another new one in here, Loveface XYZ. Welcome. Oh, is that? Oh no, that's where's my moderators here? Where are my moderators? Let's remove. There we go. And let's. I said hi to a spam, and we're going to do that. There we go. There we go. Do I have any moderators? Yeah, I have a couple moderators on the channel, so just watch out for that. I have not been spammed yet. That's my first time getting spammed. There we go. Okay, cool. And I got a text message, see if that's anybody I know. Jerry. I'm going to have to do that in a bit, Jerry. Thank you for that. I won't talk. Okay, so anyways, couple things so basically there's a couple things I do right off the bat for these printers, for printers like this, especially Manda 3s. I've done it on a couple of the other ones. I haven't done it on my King Rune and my Ender 2 because they're so small. You were just a bit slow. That's okay. I thought it was a new subscriber until I read the the post. So I'm new to spammers, so that's all right. Okay, so a couple things I like to do. The first thing I like to do, one of the first things I like to do, and it's probably the most cost-effective thing I like to do on this printer, is this comes with, I'm going to switch to this camera, and we're going to use my nice cool zoom feature on this, I think, and hopefully it's going to be bright enough here. Let's see if I can lighten that up a bit for you. Come on. There we go. So I like to replace the bed springs right in there. These bed springs that come with it are silver flimsy springs. They're, well, I say flimsy, but they're not very tight springs. And I find that it's really hard to keep a level bed with those springs. So one of the first things I like to do is I keep a stock of these. These are yellow, boom, focus for me. There we go. I keep a stock of these, as you can see, of these yellow, and there's different colors of these springs. If you just Google or you look on Amazon and you look up 3D bed springs, you'll see a lot of these. These springs will come in a package with some springs and these knobs. I also put these aluminum knobs on. I have a bunch of these as well. So these springs will come packaged with some of these aluminum knobs. There is some links to the US and Canadian versions of these on Amazon below in the description of the video. And then so that's one of the first things I do is I switch all my springs for these, and I'm going to switch my bed knobs with these aluminum ones. I just think they look cooler and they just have a little better feel for me. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's zoom out a little bit here, and we will do that. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you tag my name in the chat so that I can see the questions. So basically, I'm going to take my flexible build plate off, and I'm just going to undo these old ones just till they fall off. Come on. There we go. So we'll pop off these old knobs. Let me unplug the power to this printer first. You just replaced your yellow springs with ones from 3D print model springs that are blue, and they're much stiffer. Nice upgrade. Okay, I'll have to try those. Playing with my knobs on the stream again. Yes, I am, John. I'll pop that one off. Let me get my camera from the rear here so you guys can see that. That just didn't sound right. Let me get my camera from the rear here. There we go. And we'll take this one off. Whoa, there we go. And least but not last, this one's a little tighter to get into because it's sort of underneath where the strain relief cable for the bed heater is. But we just, there we go. There we go. That's off. And we'll get back into the front here. Okay, we have all the springs, all the knobs off, and now the bed will just simply, let's just bring our Z up a little higher so it's out of the way more. Have I tried silicone spacers instead of springs? I have not. I've heard good and bad about the silicone spacers, so I've not tried them myself yet. I've been very pleased and satisfied with how these yellow springs are working for me. So this is all I've ever done as far as spring upgrades. So now the bed will just pop right off. Okay. And we'll take the old springs. So these three are easy to get at here. And you just got to watch on the back here. There's one spring underneath this strain relief guy here. So just be careful when you're pulling this one off that you're not bending the cable, because you don't want to break the weld from the two wires that are soldered under the bed here. So just carefully move this one off and pull this spring off. There we go. So let me open these springs here. There we go. I don't know. I haven't tried the rubber ones, the silicone ones. So there you go. Barticus says he tried the spacers, didn't like them, never had an issue with the yellow springs. But then again, I don't run a print farm. No. So I have a couple different thicknesses of springs here. I have a couple different sizes here as well. But I'm going to use the larger ones on this one. 2, if I have 4 of them, and I do have 4 of them. So yeah, I have a couple smaller ones that'll work good on the smaller printers, and then I have a few larger ones. So there are different sizes you can get. So just make sure you get the right size for what you need. The ones I'm going to put on are a lot heavier than the ones I'm taking off. So if we look at the difference here, if we go to this main cam, this camera here, so here's the one I took off. Oh, come on, and there we go. And I can easily compress that spring with my hand. Whoops, pretty simple. Real easy to compress that spring. It's actually kind of loose. And then if I take the springs that I'm going to replace it with, this yellow one, that is really, I'm straining to compress that spring. So you can see that that's quite a much tighter spring. So it's a lot harder to compress than the white ones. So anyways, so basically what that means is when you've tightened down your springs and leveled your bed, there's going to be less chance of movement using these springs than the cheap thin silver ones that come with the printer. The thick yellow ones are usually flat on top, so you can crank them down tight. Yes. Yeah. I do crank, and you'll see when I do this, I crank my springs down almost to full compression, back them off a little bit, and then I'm going to adjust the Z-sensor on here as close as I can, because I want these springs to stay as compressed as possible, because then there's less chance of that bed moving out of level. So, okay, so first of all, I'm just going to put this one back on this one here, which has the bed strain relief mechanism on it. So I'm going to put that one on there and get this one back in the hole here. There we go. So that's that one there. Okay. Then I'm going to take the second one, put it on the back, and get these two lined up in the holes underneath and here. Oh, well, before I do this, while you're under here, if you've had your printer for a while, while you're under here, and I've checked this, it's a good idea, just check these nuts that are holding your bed plate in place. Check to make sure those nuts are tightened down, because they can loosen up. These are locking nuts, so likely they won't. But also check and see if you need to adjust your concentric wheels on your Y here. So check and see if there's any play in this, because it's real easy to get at those eccentric nuts at this point in time if you need to. So right now mine is tight, nice and tight and tightly adjusted, not over tight, but there's no wiggle in that at all. But this is a perfect time to actually get in there and test that. So okay, so we're going to put that back on that corner and the back corner in, and then in the fronts we're just going to lift them up. One in there and one on there. And get them to fall in the holes like so. There we go. So those springs are in there, and that's a lot tougher to push your bed down too than those silver springs were. So oh, there we go. Thank you, moderators. Always check your nuts. Yes, always check your nuts. Anytime you have the opportunity to go in and check your nuts, do. So we're going to open up these red knobs. Sorry, let me switch screens here again. We're going to open up these red knobs. We're going to replace these plastic ones. I just like these aluminum ones. They're light, actually, just as light as these are, and I just find them a little easier to adjust myself. So that's why I do that. And I got these ones. I got these ones a long time ago. Creality had a sale. I think they were like $1.99 or something like that for each, which was a really good deal. Either that or it was 79 cents, I forget. So okay, so now we'll just go in on each corner and we'll screw these on. So look at that nice red Look at that nice red enhanced look of that aluminum adjusting knob. So much nicer. And put that one on. I'm just going to get them all four started, then I'm going to crank them down. So I'm not going to switch cameras. I'm just going in the back and doing the same thing. Oh, come on. So I'm seeing a lot of comments about that's why you run Prusa's. The ABL is must have. ABL is good. I don't. One of the enhancements I could do. I'm having trouble finding this thread here on the back. There we go. And I'm just going to move this because this one can be a little bit tricky underneath here. There we go. A couple of my printers have BL touches. My Rat Rig has a BL touch on it. The Prusa's, of course, have the probes on them, the Pidna probes. Pinda or Pidna? Anyways, these printers here, my Ender 3 V2s, I could put a BL touch, but I'm not going to. Especially when I change the springs like this. Once I get the bed level, as long as I'm not changing my print surface or anything major, it stays level with these springs. So I'm just going to now what I'm going to do is crank these springs down full tight and then back them off around 2.5, 3 turns before I go ahead and put the plate back on and level. Okay. Going back, you really need to clean your mind. Yeah, you might have to do that. That would require a deep clean though, Liam. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You get sick of leveling the beds in your Ender printer. These things, I very rarely have to level. Once I get these done and with these springs, nope. So these I'm just cranking right down again. And I'll show you with the close-up camera in a minute. Okay. You have to adjust your Ender 3 units once a month with these springs? Okay. But you can feel the tension in these things as I tighten them. Okay, those are tightened. That one's back. That back one's on. This one's on. Who am I getting a message from? Aha. And we're going to tighten this one. That one's tight. And this back one. So now I'm just going to make sure these are both tight. Okay, now I'm going to back them off about 3 full turns each. Okay. Okay, that's enough. So now if I bring this other camera under here, hopefully I can get a good view of this for you. You can kind of see how compressed this spring is now. It's almost fully compressed. I still have a lot of room I can move it. Actually, I may back them off even a little bit more. But compared to the spring prior to going in, there's one of the bigger ones. So basically, this is the spring uncompressed. Okay, and you can see how much it has compressed in there. And there's still room to tighten down, in other words, to lower that bed for leveling. So, and with them compressed this tight, if I can get the bed level, and sometimes I have to loosen them off a little bit more and play with them a little bit, but the idea is to keep them as compressed as possible. And that way there's very little, even with the nozzle coming down, it's very hard to move that bed on those springs, and there's very little chance that these knobs will accidentally move even if you bump into them. See, I'm running my finger across the side of that knob. Stop it, whoever's going to say it. I'm running my finger across the side of that knob, and it's not budging. Okay, I can turn it, no problem, but I'm not going to accidentally turn it. Whereas when I had these with those silver springs on it, if I so much just brushed by it, it would turn it and it would change the level of the bed. So that is my reasoning and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So there we go. Let's switch back to this guy. Let's zoom out a little. Oh, out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I've got the new knobs on. I've put the new springs on. Tickled knobs now. John, I'm surprised at you. I'm really shocked that you would say such a thing. And I've lost one of my little silver springs, so that's okay. I don't keep them. I keep the springs because you never know when you'll need a spring for something, but it'll be around somewhere. It probably fell on the floor in the back here, so I'll keep those springs around. You're running into a glitch. ATM, my part fan won't turn on until I click the rotary encoder. You may want to get tips on how to get knobs to budge. You guys, I'm not the one making it, not PG. Anyways, so we have those tightened down. Everything is working smoothly. Nothing is binding. Nothing is in the way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in. Let me move this camera out of the way. Turn that light off. There we go. Now I'm not going to have to, as I said, so let me go over one more thing really quick here. If you do go to a, oops, I'm going to zoom right in. Oh, wrong way. Right in here. If you do go from, like I did, from a glass bed to a, in my case, a very thin, flexible steel sheet, okay? This is your Z sensor. So basically, when you're homing and your Z end and your whole gantry comes down for your Z homing, it's going to trigger this sensor. But what's going to happen, because I took the thicker glass bed off and I went for just a magnetic sheet and a thin metal build plate, I had to end up lowering this sensor because it was triggering it way too high, which would cause me to have to raise my bed, loosen my springs way off. So by loosening these two bolts here and then just carefully holding this tight, and you can slide this up and down and raise this sensor up or down. If you do happen on the Ender 3 V2, if you happen to get down and it won't go any lower, if you take this right off, there's a little tab at the bottom. All you got to do is cut that tab off and it'll allow you to lower it and raise it, or lower it a lot more than it would. So I ended up lowering this sensor because I took the glass off of this and I put a thinner build plate on it. So, and I didn't want to loosen these off to raise that plate high enough to hit the, you know, for getting my my Z home on that. Hopefully that makes sense. So lube also helps if you're, oh, okay. I'm going to stop reading these these comments. So anyways, so I'm going to power the printer on right now. So let me zoom out a bit here now that we've talked about that sensor, that end stop. Okay. So we're going to power it on. I don't need to pop that off to show you guys. I'm going to take that off for another thing in a bit anyway. So, and then we're gonna home the printer. So we're gonna go to prepare. Oops, I keep hitting the touch screen because my CR6 SEs are touch screen. We're gonna go to prepare and we're gonna auto home. Now, even though I'm pretty sure the nozzle's not gonna hit the bed, I'm always gonna have my hand on the power switch back here. Hello, ready to turn this off just in case. So Guy on Moose's RC Adventures, that's exactly another issue you're having. Thank you. Okay, good. Yeah, there's a little sticky outy thing on this sensor that you can actually cut off, and it'll allow you to lower that a little more. So, matter of fact, I think that's it right there, and I cut it off on the side here. But you'll see what I mean if you take that apart and look. So we're homing. And we are a bit low. Okay, so right now what's happening is the nozzle is hitting the bed, and I cannot stick, so for leveling, I use a, I have a little 0.02 millimeter feeler gauge that I use. Piece of paper works just fine. Yeah, this is a 0.02 feeler gauge I use for getting my gap between my bed and my nozzle for my Z offset. But a piece of paper does just as fine. So you can ditch that annoying sensor. Yeah, that's true. But again, as I say, once this is set up once, it's usually pretty good. So what I'm going to do in this case, because I can see this is way too low, and I don't want to tighten these down anymore, because I do want to have a little bit of room for leveling up and down. So I'm just going to raise my Z. So I'm going to move Z. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit out of the way, say 8 millimeters. Okay. So this is perfect. I get to show you exactly what I mean by this one. And I'm going to, I believe this is the right size. Yeah, I'm going to loosen these off just slightly. And I'm actually going to put some pressure on this one with my thumb so it doesn't go sliding all over the place. Loosen this one off. And I'm just going to slightly raise. Oops, got to loosen it a bit more. There we go. Just going to slightly raise that. Oh, didn't loosen the top one enough. There we go. There we go. And I just raised it probably a millimeter, if that. And you have to do this a couple times. It's hit and miss. And yes, if you have a BL Touch, you don't have to do this. And we'll snug those up again. Make sure that's solid, and then we'll just home it again. Okay. So let me zoom in here so you can see what's happening here. There we go. So we've homed it, and we have a much more reasonable gap there. Let me get this camera over here and see if I can show you what I'm looking at here. There we go. Now you can see the gap right here between the nozzle and the bed. That's much more reasonable for me, okay? So that means I won't have to loosen this spring off too much in order to get that perfect Z offset on there. So, okay. But what I want to check first as well is this is going to be a good test of the overall curvature of the bed. So I'm going to disable my steppers. I'm going to pull this forward a little bit, and I'm going to carefully push this over to the other side and just make sure that the gap in there. So again, I'm looking at the gap. Oh, this is a harder one to see. I'm looking at the gap between the nozzle and the bed. There is a gap. It's hard to see there because of the shadow. So I think my my sensor is in a good spot right now. So there we go. So from that, I got too many cameras going around here. I need an assistant. Anybody want to come and be my assistant? Let's zoom out of this. There we go. So from that, we can now do our standard, go ahead and do our standard leveling. So we're going to move it over to here. Being careful not to touch this. We don't want to influence the this whole X gantry up or down. So there's other methods I can do. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just actually use the motors to move over and back and forth, but that's a little slower. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to check our gap here. It's fine there. And you guys all know how to level a bed this way. And I know you BL Touch guys are going to say, yeah, it would be a lot easier with a BL Touch, and it's true. And that's good there. It's almost max. And when you're doing this, you don't want to be touching the bed as you're doing it. So in other words, I don't want to go like this and use my thumb to turn it because I'm putting pressure on the bed. Although these springs are pretty compressed, and it's going to be hard to actually push down on those anyways. We've got to lower this one a bit more. Bring in Astro Printer. Oh, so this is still a little, so I got the spring fully compressed and it's still too tight. So what I need to do, this is trial and error again. And this is, again, if you have a BL Touch, great, you don't have to do this. But if you just have one of these printers and you haven't put a BL Touch on, these are the things you got to go through. So I'm going to move the Z up a bit more. And I'm going to raise this sensor a little bit more, because that back one was just a little bit too tight. I compressed the spring fully. So we're going to bring this up just a little bit. There we go. And we're going to home it again. Okay. If you don't have a BL Touch, hide the hammers. You know, once you do this a couple times, it's not so bad. So I'm going to disable the steppers. We're going to come along here. So, of course, this gap is going to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to have to raise this a fair bit. But I've compressed this spring enough that it's still going to be tight enough. There we go. And get my feeler in there. That's good there. And I know those of you that know what I'm doing and know how to do this, this is going to be very boring for you to watch, but you know what? Suck it up. Suffer through it. Okay, that's good there. There, now we have a bit of a gap here. Good. That's good there. Move this over. And this one's a little bit tight. There we go. The other reason I like the feeler gauge, I think I got this on Amazon or something, is paper you can rip. This won't rip, and it'll allow me to, I can actually flex this on the bed and slide and do that. Sometimes I'll be using paper and it'll rip. Okay, that one's good. And then we're going to go around the four corners again and make sure everything else is still good. Okay. That one's good. This one's a little tight now. That's good. This one's a little loose. That's why it takes patience. You got to go around a couple times. That one's good. And that one's good. 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 Now I like to go to the middle, and I find on this bed, actually it's not bad. Sometimes the middle will be a bit loose. This one's actually pretty good. So that means this bed is level. I have another one of my under 3V2s where the middle is low, which tells me that there's a bit of a bow in the bed. Okay, that's a whole other story, but that's the other advantage of the BL Touch. If you have a bit of a bow in the bed, the BL Touch will accommodate for that. So Red Rover, I called you Red Rover. This is a 0.02 millimeter, 0.02 inch, 2 thou. But I believe it's a 0.02 thou or a 2 thou or a 0.2 millimeter feeler gauge. This actually, I didn't buy this. Now that I remember, this feeler gauge came with my CR10S Pro, which is sort of out of commission right now. But yeah, this feeler gauge came with the CR10S Pro. So yeah, so I've lost this more times than I can count, but I've tried to keep a tight hand on it now. So new bow and bed equals new bed. Yeah, it's You can compensate for bows in the bed and stuff, but it's more of a hassle than it's worth sometimes. Considering a new bed for a printer like this would not cost that much. So I'm just going to raise the Z up a bit now. So we're leveled off. We got the new springs. They're tight. I can't accidentally move these. I'm rubbing the knob pretty hard here, and they're not budging. Okay, so this bed is going to keep this level really, really well at this point in time. Am I upgrading the firmware to Jersey UI or similar? I hadn't planned to. There is a newer firmware, I believe, for this one. I can check into that in another stream because this is going to be a couple streams for this printer. So we will talk about the firmware on another one, but we're going to do a couple different things on this one right now as well. But as I say, this is a series that I'm doing. I'm not going to rush through it. I kind of want to just give an overview of the different things I do to make the printing experience a little better. So, you know, and the reason for what we just did there was putting on those better springs. So now you're not going to accidentally knock this bed out of level. Okay. And yes, you may have to go through and level it once in a while. When I start printing, I may have to do a little bit of baby stepping on the Z, depending. But for the most part, corner to corner, four corners, this bed is level, and I check the center. So I'm happy with the level of this bed right now. And with the upgraded springs, it's definitely not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you had those other springs, which I've put away somewhere right here, with these older springs here, these old springs that came on it that compress real easy, those knobs, those black knobs that were with it, I could actually just easily, when these were on here, if I accidentally bumped them, they would turn a whole lot easier compared to these ones that I can put quite a bit of pressure on rubbing them and they're not moving anywhere. You actually have to intentionally turn that to actually take it out of level. So there we go. That's the first thing. So where are we at? We're at, not even quite an hour yet. Good. So the next thing, we'll try and cover a few things tonight. No, move on, because another thing that I do is I upgrade the PTFE tubing that's in there to premium Bowden tubing, Capricorn Bowden tubing. Okay, the stuff that's in here is fine for the most part. Let me switch the camera again. The stuff that comes on this is fine for the most part. This one has been serving me well. This is the original Bowden tubing that came. It's the white stuff. But I buy pretty decent filament. The problem I have found with this and other printers in the past, if I use different filaments, will have different tolerances. And I find these things sometimes are not really tolerable for different filaments. And I don't know if it's the lining of it, if it's how smooth it is or what it is. But I know that when I've put the Bowden tubing on, this brand name Capricorn, that way there. So it's the premium Capricorn Bowden tubing, 1.75. This stuff has never failed me. The filament's not bound up in it on me before, so that's one of the other upgrades I do. So this stream has a disturbing amount of rubbing knobs. If you upgrade the screen on the Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro with the Creality 427 board, Jersey works fantastic. This particular printer, I can open it up and show you. This has a 4.22 board. So the firmware upgrade for this, from what I understand from Creality, there's a firmware upgrade for the 4.27 board, and there's a firmware upgrade for the 4.22 board. The 4.27 board is obviously a little newer. I'm not going to bother upgrading the board in this because I don't see a need for it for me. But I do know that this has the 4.22 board in it because I wrote it down when I looked in it yesterday when I was preparing for the stream. I just wanted to know what kind of a board was in it. So, okay. So with that done, the other upgrade I like to do is, and again, these are not necessary. This printer runs really fine. This printer runs fine from the factory. These are just upgrades that'll make your life easier down the road. Okay. So the other upgrade I like to do, and we're gonna get to pushing plastic maybe later in the stream. But for now, I'm just talking about the upgrades, about the enhancements, I should say. Okay. Jerry, if not Capricorn, you also use the TH3D tubing. About the same. Works great. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he's got some good tubing, I've heard. I haven't tried his yet, Tim's tubing. I haven't tried Tim's tubes yet. So the other thing I like to upgrade is the... Okay, there's going to be different opinions on what I call this here, but this is what I call it. I call it the feeder. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to zoom in a bit here, and we are talking about... Oh, come on, camera. Sorry about the up and down here, guys. We're talking about this guy right here, okay? I call it the feeder, okay? In my opinion, the extruder is the feeder and the hot end combined, because basically you're extruding filament. You need two things to extrude filament. You need a feeder driven by a stepper motor, and you need a hot end, which is going to melt your filament. So that's your extruder. Anyways, this is the feeder. So I like to upgrade the feeder. The one that comes standard with this is plastic, okay? Now, you can't really see it from this angle unless I bring the camera, but if I pop this little handle off, what happens on these over time, and you might not notice it until you run into problems, is right up in this area, sort of right up, and I've had this happen on one printer a long time ago, but this plastic will crack. It'll be a hairline crack that'll happen up along here, and that will affect the pressure that this is putting on the filament that's going through it. Okay, it's obviously going to reduce the pressure, because the spring is not going to be as effective because of a hairline crack that happens in this plastic. So I like to, with that said, I should have named this stream Fun with Knobs. Yeah, there's another. I just took another knob off. You're right. Woohoo! Oops. So I've got a bunch of these kind of in stock, and these I just got off of Amazon. These are not anything especially exclusive, but they work well. These are aluminum, red aluminum dual gear extruders. So basically, the aluminum will not crack. Let me get this other camera over here, and I'll show you this package contents. These things are about, I don't know, $8 or $9. You can get actually, if I get the close-up camera in here, you can actually get a set of these springs, red knobs, and an aluminum extruder. I think in the US, you're looking around $24 for the whole package. In Canada, it's a little bit more. So, yeah. The 422 boards were a buggy mess, depending on which one you got. The 427s were fixed boards. I haven't had a problem with this one, so I probably got a good 422 board. So for this guy, there we go. So this is a pretty simple kit. So you get aluminum. So again, this is the handle that's going to replace the plastic one, so you're not going to get the crack, which occurs on the plastic one down and around this area here. This is a little thicker supported here, but it occurs in around this area. You get a little bit of a hairline crack on the plastic one. So, but this just comes with all the standard parts that you need. And again, it's a dual gear, so that just basically means instead of having a little like a bearinged wheel in here, this actually has two gears driving your filament between, as opposed to just the one. So was that even on camera? I wasn't even looking. Yeah, it was. Okay, so we have all the parts to replace that. So that's what we'll do next here. Oh, you guys. Okay, see if I can do this correctly here. There we go. So first thing I'm going to do is pop off this Bowden tubing here. Okay, I am going to snap. Let me zoom out a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm doing first. There we go. I'm just going to cut off, because I'll replace the tubing while I'm at it. snap this off. To get at it, I'll get it at it under the hot end in a little bit because I have to take the cap off to reach that little clip. Maybe I don't, but we'll do this for now. So I'm going to try and get this camera a little higher angle for you. Okay, and then down. There we go, and we'll try and zoom in here. Sorry for the shaky camera work, guys. And down a little bit more. But I'm trying to get better camera angles this year. So there we go. Woo, 40 watching and 41 likes. I like it. Okay, so we just basically have to disassemble this. So this is pretty simple to take apart. You just have to make sure you have the right size wrench. I just start by taking this first bolt out of here. Wrong size wrench. I think it's this one. I think it's the 2.5 millimeter. There we go. So this one I find easy. If you just compress the spring a little bit and unscrew this. And then this will just sort of all pop right off, spring and all. So yeah, so the main difference here, and I can show you here. So with the single gear extruder, so the gearing happens right here on the motor mount. So let me pull this camera over here, give you a better view of this. For those out there that have not really seen the difference, I don't know, most of you probably know this, so bear with me. So, but on here, focus, there we go. So there's the single gear that basically drives your filament, okay? And then you have this wheel here. You can see it's just a bearing gap, I guess if you want to call it. There's no gear or nothing. So basically what happens is the spring pushes that wheel against the gear, and your filament runs in between there. So there's really only one gear driving this whole system between there, versus what's going to happen with this one is this gear is going to replace the gear on the extruder motor. And then if you look on this one, it's a second gear. So you have two gears, and you can see just above where my fingers are, the filament goes in right in between those two little, you can see where the filament goes in kind of right where my finger is there. So, but it's driven by two gears. So it's a lot less likely to slip, gives you a little bit more, I don't know, traction, if you want to call it that. So anyhow, that's the difference between the dual gear and the ones that come on here. So next we take off, you know, if they would use the same size screws, it would make life a lot easier, but no, they like to use smaller ones. So I'm just going to unplug. Actually, I'm going to turn the power off on the printer right now too, because I'm going to unplug the stepper motor, because it's going to pop out. And then we have to take this. This is a little spring mount thing here. So we have to pop this off. And of course, it's a different size as well. So I have to pop this off just to access the screw that's below it. There we go. So we're just taking this right out. There we go. Took this out so that I could access this little screw right here. I'll keep all these parts. And I'll keep this feeder because it's a perfectly good feeder. It works. This hasn't failed or cracked or anything yet, but I call this preventive maintenance, I suppose. Okay. And as you loosen the rest of these, there we go. Hang on to the motor, because the motor, let's pull this up a bit, because the motor will fall out. Because these next three that I'm doing are all that's holding the motor in now. Yes, non-fam's got it right. If the diameter of the gear is smaller, regardless, I will be readjusting the E-steps anyways. I will do that. I will be doing that next week. We're going to adjust the E-steps next week. We're going to check the firmware and we're going to print some plastic, and we're going to look at a couple other possible upgrades as well. So this whole thing comes off like this, and then you'll see the motor will just pop out, just like so. Whoops, just like so. There we go. So all we're left with is a bare platform right there. So let's zoom out of this a bit. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take all these old parts. I'm just going to put them in this, put them in the box. Okay. So let me get the close-up camera over here for some close-up work. Okay, let's see. Went from 100 to 150-ish. Yeah, the E-steps are definitely going to need to change. But the nice thing about the Ender 3 V2 is you don't have to hook up to your computer to change the E-steps, which I quite like about it. So we'll go over that, as I say, in the next stream. So close-up camera, please. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this gear here. So there's two screws on here, one on the round side and one on the flat side of the motor shaft. Okay, we don't need that anymore here. That will be replaced with this one. And this just has a single set screw to hold it on. So just make sure that this set screw sits against the flat side of the shaft. Otherwise, you're going to have problems with it rotating. We'll adjust the height of this as we go, because the height of this will have to be adjusted based on how it sits up in there. But we'll just get this on there for now, and we'll worry about the height. We'll worry about the height after, because we've got to make sure that when we put this on, okay, that the filament path. This might be a little better view of it, so you can see where the. Oh, come on! I have big fingers and clumsy fingers. So, right, oh, other angle. There you go. So you can see, so we have the dual gear drivers here, and the filament path is right here. So we're going to have to adjust this up and down depending on where this sits, okay, so that we align the filament path properly. So if you move it up and down more than twice, you're playing with it. Oh, God. Now shafts. Oh, boy. It's a good thing that... well, you know what? Yeah, it's a fun stream. I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that's on there snug so we don't move. There we go. Now for this little guy, it's pretty simple. We've got the coupler for the Bowden tube. It's a larger coupler than the one that came off of this. If you look, you'll see a big difference in the couplers, okay? It's a much more robust coupler. I personally think they're much better couplers than the little ones that come with it. Whoops. And I just dropped a bunch of extra screws. It's okay. They're all pretty much the same screws now that I got them all mixed up. So this coupler is going to go in this, like so. Okay, and we'll want to tighten that down with a wrench, which, do I have a wrench handy? Oh, well, of course I have a wrench handy in the toolbox of the Ender 3 V2. There we go. So we just want to go ahead and snug that coupler. You don't want to over tighten it. It's just so you just tighten enough so you can't turn it by hand. That's all you need to do. Okay. Okay, we're moderators. Oh, good job. Thanks, non-fam. They're going to keep trying. I thought I banned them. Anyways, good. Thought I banned them. See what happens when I start talking shafts? Okay, so basically, pretty simple. What's going to happen here is we're going to screw this in the same way we did the other one. One thing to notice is that this is a countersunk on this side. The reason that's a countersunk is because this rides right over top of it, okay? Versus these two over here, which don't really matter because nothing's going to ride over top of them. We have a screw that will I'll just show you because it's going to be easier to see it from this view. So this will go in here after it's down and screwed down. This actually, I can do this in all the way, and I should still be able to actually access that screw. And then this little guy, okay, will go on the side here, because this is basically what's going to hold the spring. And if you notice, the spring they give you with this is one of those flat yellow high compression springs. So it's going to be nice and snug. Okay, so that's the spring's going to go on that way. Okay, so let's just take that off for now. Then there is a little a little red piece here. Okay, this goes in down there. It's to align this bolt here. It's the longest bolt you get in the package. That goes down there, and that is actually going to go through this hole on this one, and that's going to be the last one we put in. And it's a little tricky just because we gotta have the spring compressed. Okay. One thing we can put on here right now, there's a little hole in here, and basically this just takes one of these small screws that come with the package. And I need the smaller screwdriver again. I believe it's, no, I think that's the right one. No, it's not the right one. It's this one. Okay. And then we just put a screw in here. Okay. Just until it's done. And that's basically what's going to happen there is when we put this little spring holder on there, spring on there, and that is what's going to basically go in the spring. That's going to align the spring. That's what that screw there is for. It's to go on this end of the spring. And boom, boom, boom. Okay, so kind of makes sense. It's basically exactly the same as the one that we just took apart, other than the fact that we have a dual gear. Okay, the one we took apart has that really chintzy looking. So basically, there's the two parts there, right? Okay, so this one has just got that groove, and this one has the actual gear with the groove for the filament path right here. So much more precise at pushing filament through. Let me see if I can ban this person. Remove, put person in timeout. I don't see ban. How can you? They must be using a little bit of a different name. Anyways, thanks again, whoever's catching that. And it's probably you, non-fam. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay. Anyways, okay. I'm not used to spammers. Sorry, that's kind of got me flustered. Okay, so we're going to put this all back together now. Let's go back up here. So this camera here. Okay, so let's zoom back in to here. Here we go. There we go. Oh yeah, tripod got that. Thanks, John. Okay, so we're gonna grab the motor, put the motor up here. I'm gonna get my screws ready because I only have two hands here. So I'm gonna get my screws ready in advance, at least one of them. There we go. Put that on. So motor up here. This goes on this way so that the coupler is facing the same way the other one was, because we're going to fill them. It's going to feed through that way. And I'm just going to get one screw going on this side so I don't have to hold the motor. And that one goes right in here. I'll leave that a little loose till I get the other ones lined up. Okay, Liam, I can show that one. And remember, this one here is the flathead, or is the, sorry, the countersunk screw goes in here. Okay. And then we have just another, these are M3, I think these are like 10 millimeter screws, I'm not sure, but they're the ones that come with it. Put this one in here. Oops, don't fall, don't fall. Okay, now I can snug these three up. Okay. Now we will put the spring thing here. Now this is, I'm going to back this one off a little bit. This screw here is how we compress the spring. by loosening or tightening this screw here. So basically what's going to happen is that's as fully loose as it can be, and the more you turn it in, the tighter your spring's going to be. And it's kind of a double, it's a weird thing. You tighten your spring this way, but what's happening when you actually tighten that spring is you're putting less pressure on your filament. So let me get this thing just fell off here, sorry. So yeah, so when this is at its loosest, like that, your filament is going to be at its tightest, the path. When this is at its tightest, your filament path is at its loosest. It's just the way that it pushes back and forth on this. So now we will put with the little red adapter in there like that. Okay, we're going to put the spring on this one side. This part's a little tricky, just because it's so, you have to compress that spring at the same time. So we get the spring in the end here. And you want to kind of just sort of pinch it all together there, and then that screw is just fallen into place now. The bolt has fallen into place. And we just tighten that bolt down. Okay. And there we go. You see we have this. It's all finished now. Okay. So now we can adjust this accordingly. Personally, so as I tighten that more, it's basically pushing. Oh, sorry. No, as I tighten it, my bad. As I tighten it, it's putting more pressure on the extruder. As I loosen it, it's putting less pressure on the filament. So sorry about that. So I usually just leave it just till it starts putting pressure, so I have the least pressure possible on the filament to start with. So now here's where we need to adjust. Let me get the close-up camera for this because it'll be easier. Although you might get the view from this camera. Let's see. No, I think I need the close-up camera here. Oh, patience with the cameras. Yeah, this is going to give you the view I want you to see here. So right here, you will see once this focuses and settles. Okay, so you can see right here, you can see the filament path right there, and then in there you can see the filament path on the other gear. So these are not lined up. So I need to actually loosen this one. This is the one right here that's on the shaft of the extruder motor. This has to come up so that this filament path here lines up with the filament path here on the actual feeder. So I'm going to try and do this while I keep the camera on here so you can see what I'm doing. No guarantees this is going to look pretty, but hey, she ain't pretty, she just looks that way. Is that what, Leonard Skinner or something? Oh, there we go, we're going to focus. Good. This is going to be tough to do. So what I'm going to do is move this camera out of the way, and I'm going to do this without this camera on it, and then I'll just show you the result after. So if you have to, sometimes you have to turn the motor a little bit by hand to get that screw visible. So we loosen, and then we're going to raise it up, and I'm just going to use no, so what I got, okay, so no, what I need to do is I kind of did it backwards here. I have to loosen this off. There's too much tension. Oh no, I can loosen that right there. Okay, my bad. So we're going to loosen this, pull a little bit of tension off the spring, raise it, just to line up those two right about there. Okay, that slipped. Okay, here we go. So now, if you look at that gear, you'll see, once that focuses, right there. So now you'll see that the filament path, right there, the filament path, so we're lined up. So the gear on the shaft of the extruder motor is lined up so that the filament path is right there and it's all lined up. That's what we got to make sure is lined up. There we go. Dun, da, da, da. So that's done. Now, I'm going to plug the extruder motor back in. Here, you don't need to see me full screen. Let's do this and zoom out a bit here. So we're going to plug the extruder motor back in. Okay. The only thing I don't like about these extruders, but these are typical of your Creality extruders, is and I just dropped a hot end. That's okay. The filament path is really, really close to the Z-rod. And when the filament comes down, and people have made adapters, but when the filament comes down, it comes in on an angle, and you end up grinding a little bit of filament off in this. But it is what it is. They have different things you can print to allow for that. It hasn't given me a problem in the past, but yeah, it's just one of those little things. Oh, it'll clear the lead screw, no problem. Yeah. If you look at that angle right there, it doesn't look like much, but it's got lots of... is it going to focus for me? Is it going to focus for me? I don't know why it needs to focus on my filament rack. There we go. It's got lots of room there if you look there. So yeah, there's lots of room for the filament to clear the lead screw there. But what will happen is when the filament goes in, it goes in on such an angle, unless you print some sort of an adapter, it'll go in an angle where it'll grind the filament a little bit. But I haven't had an issue with that in the past. I think you might, if you have a long print, you may end up with a little filament dust at the bottom here. So, but it is what it is for that case. So, yeah. But yeah, there's lots of room there for the filament to get through beside that lead screw. It doesn't look like it from certain angles, but it's fine. No, it won't rub on the lead screw. When the filament comes off, it might hit the lead screw, but it doesn't interfere and it doesn't cause that much issue. I haven't had an issue with that in the past at all. So to finish this off, I'm going to just pop this cap off. Which one do I need? This one? Let me get rid of all these old extruder parts. Okay. We're just going to pop this cap off real quick. Wrong one. I always pick the wrong one. And the other thing about doing it live is you kind of get an idea of how long it actually takes to do. So, yeah. So we'll pop this off. This, I've always had trouble getting the back of this off. It's got a little clip here. That doesn't have to come off too far. All I'm getting this off for is so that I can grab, where are my tweezers? I just want to grab this little retaining clip. Without losing it. There we go. And then I can pull the PTFE or the Bowden tubing out, PTFE tube. Sometimes I have to use a bit of a tool here to push down and pull up at the same time. That's really stuck. There we go. Whew. Okay, well, we're going to have to go a little further with this one. Let me get this cap right off. Little clip at the bottom of this cover that always gets me. There it is. There we go. Okay. Ah, that's kind of stuck. That won't move down at all. So I'm going to see if I can't. Well, that's on there too good. Okay, so I am going to be forced. See, this is why it's live. If I didn't do this live and I cut this part, you'd never see the issues I have here. We're just going to take this coupler right off. Exactly. That's what I'm doing, Bardicus. Look at that. Oh, that is really... See, this is melted in the hot end, obviously. Oh, that won't come off at all. So I have to power this guy up, I suppose, and heat this hot end up a bit. That will not come out of there at all. So that's obviously melted down in the hot end, which is going to cause some issues down the road. So let me prepare. Let me go back to control temperature. Nozzle. I shouldn't have to heat that up any more than maybe 100, 150. Let's just heat the hot end up and get this PTFE tubing out and get some good Capricorn tubing in. Yep. So we want to make sure, and I do, this one's actually quite good on the one end. You want to make sure that you get a nice straight cut. Come on. Nice straight cut on the end that's going in, that's going to sit on the nozzle. The other end's not so critical, but you want to make sure. This one happens to have a perfectly straight cut on the one end. So get her nice and warm. Yeah, let's heat her up to 300 to make sure. Yeah. Yeah. Loosen the nozzle, yes, because I'm going to want to tighten the nozzle back up against this. Let's see where we're at. 146. Where is my nozzle wrench? Or is that actually a nozzle wrench they give you with this? Let's see. Yeah, I keep forgetting these aren't, I'm going to take that sock off. I keep forgetting these aren't direct drive or all metal. Yeah, there we go. Loosen that nozzle off a bit. This should come out now. Wow. We're at 200 degrees. There we go. Oh yeah, you can see the end of that was starting to look a little nasty. Yeah. So there we go. So we're going to take this and we're going to cut. That's my straight end for the nozzle, and we're just going to measure. And I'm going to cut right there. And I'm going to use my, I have a PTFE tube cutter, which I use to get my real straight flat edge. But this end right here is nice and flat. Oh, that one turned out really flat too, considering I cut that really quick. Wow, I could use either end against the nozzle. Cool. So we're going to put we will put the coupler back in. Snug it up. There we go. Find our flat end, which I believe is that guy right there. Push this in as far as it'll go. Throw the retainer back on. Now that we're hot, we'll give the nozzle a tighten. This one I can tighten without a wrench because it's got those two holders. Everything, so we'll tighten the nozzle here. There we go. So hopefully, ideally, there's a perfect seal between the nozzle and the PTFE tube. We'll put the sock back on. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, no burning going on. Look at that. Look at that. No burns. And we'll throw the cover back on. Oh, come on. Okay. got this. Have I got this upside? No, I don't. There it is. There it is. I couldn't find the hole. I know I shouldn't be saying that on this stream with you guys. There we are. There we are. Which wrench was it? Which wrench was it? Still early. How long before we check and see how hot it is with my hand? I don't think I need to do that this time. There we go. And that is done. Well, you can go like this and go, yeah, that's hot, but that's not a burn. Sorry, I'm not going to burn myself for your pleasure. I refuse to burn myself for your pleasure. Yes, Liam, you're right. And this piece, I keep it because you just never know when it can come in handy for something. So, and then also this piece, even though it's short, I actually need a piece of this for my rat rig when I put the mosquito hot end on. I need a piece that is exactly 45.5 millimeters long. So that piece is going to come in handy. So now we'll go ahead and we'll grab this one. We'll put it into the extruder like so. And we'll zip tie. Actually, we'll put the retainer clip back on it, on this. And then we'll zip tie this back in place. Now, again, as a couple of you have mentioned, the next step to do before printing anything with this is we're going to calibrate the E steps. But we will do that next week. I don't want to run too late. And there's one more thing I want to get done on this stream to show you guys another option that's possible. Especially you, John. Keep watching. Keep watching, Mr. Tripod. And we'll just put one more of these on here just for good measure. Right down to here. Okay, there we go. Let's do the snip dingle thing. Snip dingle. Snip dingle. And snip dingle. There we go. So to recap, we have upgraded, enhanced, whatever you want to call it. Let me put the tools back in the drawer here. We have upgraded the bed leveling knobs and springs. Okay, let's zoom out a bit here. Doop. We've upgraded the bed leveling knobs and springs, and we've upgraded to a dual gear extruder from the old cheap plastic one that we have on there. So that's a couple things you can do. They don't take you as long as they're taking me now because I'm explaining. You could probably cut your time in half for how long it would actually take you to do these things. So yeah. So we're going to hang on to this. I don't throw anything out really unless, you know. So we have basically the old extruder, the old feeder right here. Nothing wrong with it. If something were to fail on another one, it's a good backup to have. So I keep these parts. Again, and I always keep a good load of these springs around. So for other printers, there's a couple other ones I'm going to update yet. So, and I've got some more of those red knobs somewhere. Now this knob, obviously, which was used on top of the old feeder, will not work on this particular one for the configuration. So I never use this anyways. The idea behind this was to actually feed your filament. Feed your filament up to the hot end. I just push the filament in by hand till it gets to the hot end, and then I do it from there. Also, you could see if when your extruder's turning with this, because it's easy to see as a visual. I just look and see the gears turning. Same thing. So, but again, I will keep this knob. I pretty much have a. Let's tape down again. I have a pretty good knob collection at this point in time, but I don't throw, as I say, don't throw anything away. Keep all the old knobs and all that. So there we go. Okay, one more thing I want to do because we have a bit of time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. We got a half hour. I want to show you something I tried yesterday during a stream. I wanted to make sure it worked. rather than show you guys and have it not work. So, John, pay attention. And it's only on the one printer. So it's another possible upgrade or enhancement you could do. I have two options for this printer. I have the Creality. This is actually a, there's the label right there. This is a touchscreen kit. Okay, it's for the Ender 3, Ender 3 V2, Ender 3 Pro, etc. So this is their touchscreen kit, which basically replaces this screen with a touch screen similar to that, or exactly to that, that's on the CR6 SE. Okay. The other option is this guy, which is a Creality 3D pad, 3D multifunctional touchscreen. We're going to have a look at this and see what this does right now, since we have about a half hour. Do not do a live Windows 95 demonstration. All eyes. I won't, Stephen. Okay. So let's have a look and see what this does. This is a pretty decent enhancement. Would be pretty good for this printer. There's a few things I like about it, and I'll show you why right now. So let's open this up. Oh, I keep dropping crap behind my desk here. What have I dropped here? Let's see. Oh man, zip ties galore. A dragonfly hot end. Okay, I need my other camera. I need this camera. Don't need the light though. Okay, that's a great little camera, by the way. I know John has one, Jerry has one. So let's see. Well, actually, this helps if I do the camera and show you guys what I'm doing here. Whoa. So it's awful bright though. Okay, so we have the Creality iPad user manual. Kind of useless. I didn't really use it much, but then we have, I don't know what these are really for. They are stickers of some sort. I assume to stick something on something. I know, Captain Obvious, right? Okay. 10 other printers. You never got it to work, John? I guess I'm, anyway, so here's the actual pad. It's a touch pad, okay? I haven't even peeled the thing off of it yet. So that's the actual touch pad. And underneath the touch pad, we have another box. Okay. And then in here we have this is basically like a hub. So we go from the back of the touch pad to the hub with a cable. And then the other ports on here, we have a filament sensor port. We have a data port, basically, which comes from the printer, and then we have a port here that powers the actual hub, if you want to call it. And then we have, if I can pop it out of here, we have a filament sensor. I don't know if you have to use this, but since this printer doesn't have a filament sensor, why not? I'll have to figure out where this would go and et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, filament sensor. Okay, and then in this box, let's get a little higher view here. There we go. In this box, we have some cables. So let's dump these out. Cables in a little bag of 4 magnets, neodyme magnets. Have to use the sensor. Okay. Could always just stick a piece of filament in it and override it, I'm sure. So we have this cable. Okay. So this goes from here. It's just a standard telephone jack cable. And this seems all bulky, but I think once it's in place, it might not be so bad. And then this goes into the back of the pad here. Okay. Then we have a filament sensor cable. Okay. So this goes, actually, I'm not even going to really unwind that much because that's not going to play an integral part of the demo. This goes here, and then this plugs into the filament sensor port right there on the hub, or whatever you want to call this box. Okay, just like that. So they give you enough cable here so you can pretty much run this sensor wherever you need to. Okay. Then we have, let's see, the front of this printer. We have, whoops, don't need this one. This and this. Yes, I do need this one. Which one of these didn't I need? I didn't need this one. For some reason, this was a cable. I don't recall what this is called as far as USB-B or I don't know. Anyways, that style plug I didn't need. So that I kind of threw aside. This one here is what's going to connect in here. Okay, and this is going to connect this one here, which is another, that's almost like a Samsung type style plug, USB mini. USB-C I need. Anyways, this goes to the front of the basically the USB input onto my printer. So this is basically what's going to carry the information from the printer to this hub. So let's, and then finally, what we plug into here is this is a USB-C style plug. Okay, this plugs into here, and this is going to act as the power to this whole thing. So yeah, it's kind of a wire nightmare in a sense, but it once, you know, and I'm good at cable management. Just ask anybody who saw me do the rat rig build. But we'll figure out how to manage these cables after. These magnets are obviously going to be for mounting this somewhere, for mounting the pad somewhere. So we'll see what happens. Welcome to the octopus. Yeah. Okay, so let's switch to this camera here now. Okay, let's back this up a little bit. And if my voice changes, because my mic is actually, let me see, my mic should be charged by now. I think I can actually clip this on here so you can actually hear me properly. There we go. Okay, whoops. Oh, that sucks. I'm just going to clip my mic right here. There we go. That's better. Okay, so we have this mess here, basically. Let me zoom out a bit here. Sorry, folks. There we go. That's better. And if I move this guy out of the way. There we go. So we have this mess right here, basically. So once we figure this mess out, it'll kind of all make sense. There's the power cable. Okay. This one here plugs into the front port. Now, the way they've arranged this is almost on purpose. This has to plug in this way. And so I'll show you in a second here. Once that's plugged in, you kind of lose access to your micro SD card slot. But doesn't matter because you're not going to use this micro SD card slot anyways if you're using the pad. Okay. So we have that plugged into there, that plugged into here. The only thing I don't like what they didn't involve here is this has to go to a 5-volt USB power supply. They didn't provide that power block. So luckily I have a few spare power blocks sitting around. So it's just basically your standard 5-volt USB power block. Okay, so this plugs into here, and this plugs into the power supply, into your outlet. There we go. That's going to power up. That's going to actually power up your screen. So that's going to power up the little pad, and you're going to come to your home screen on the pad. Okay, there we go. So with that said and done, let's zoom out a bit here more. Oh, I got to tighten this ball joint in the camera. There we go. Okay, so with that done, now it also has an annoying beep. So if you, I don't know if you can hear that. And I can actually change the beep sound. So basically on this now, I don't know if you can see this too well. I'm trying to do a couple things at once. Actually, I wonder if I can show the close-up camera at the same time. No, let's just do this. Let's just show you the screen here as best I can without the reflection. There we go. So we have the printing, we have the ready, we have the leveling, we have the control. So first thing we want to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ready print, and I'm going to home everything. So when I hit home, you'll see that the machine will start homing. It's going to home it. Dum, 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 dum. Isn't this exciting watching it home? I hit home and it's homing. Homing. Oh, I know there's a bit of a delay. Okay, so we homed, and Our offset is good because we saved all that. Okay. I can go ahead and move. So I can hit move. So if I want, I can move by say, we're right there. So I can move in increments of 10 millimeters, 1 millimeter, 0.1 millimeter. If I go 10, move my Z up 10, you'll see my Z is moving up. 10, 10 more. If I move my X, X is going to move over 10 at a time. And if I move my Y, oops, that's all the way back. Oh, there goes Y. Y is moving. You can see that kind of in the background there. I can, from here as well, I can home if I want to home my Z. Oops. I don't know what those are for. Oh, that's telling me the position. So right now it's saying that my X is at 30, Y is at 60, Z is at 20. If I move my Z up again, it's going to tell me my Z is at 30. That's what the top ones are just telling me my positions. They're not really active buttons. So I can go back. I can preheat PLA, touch that, and it's going to start preheating. My temperatures are down here. My nozzle was already heated up, so it's showing it's 201 degrees. Okay, and it's going to go down to 190. This has programmed to preheat PLA to 190. And my bed is showing it's at 26, and it's going to go up to 50. Okay, so this is working. The display is still attached, and it works, yes. This display is still attached, too. So if I unplug this display, though, this will still work. So I've unplugged this display. So this display is gone. Okay, and let's home everything here. And it still works. There we go. So there's a couple things I'll show you too. So you could actually get a longer, you could actually put a longer phone cable on here, because to me it looks just like a standard telephone cable. And who doesn't have an old one of these laying around somewhere? So you could actually mount this somewhere on your printer and have a cable so you can actually walk around with this. The only one downfall is you have to have a separate power supply for this. Okay, big deal. But you know, if you have a printer plugged in somewhere, you can plug that in somewhere. So that works. So we're preheating. So we're already preheated. We're at 201 out of 90. So it's actually the hot end's cooling down a bit right now. So now if I go back, I can go. So one thing I like about this leveling, it has sort of an assisted leveling thing here. So if I go level and tap this button right here, you'll watch it's going to bring the nozzle to the back left corner. Then I can go ahead and adjust my Z by 0.1, 1, or 10 millimeters. I can adjust my Z down by 0.1 millimeter at a time to level it. Then when I'm done that one, I can hit this button. It'll go to the far right corner, level it, hit this button. It'll come up to the top right corner, and then again hit this button. It'll go over, oops, if I hit the button it helps, it'll go over to this corner. So it's got an assistive leveling feature on this, which is pretty cool too. So that seems okay there. Assisted leveling feature, and again, moving my Z up and down. I've already got my level on here, so I don't really need to do that. I don't know auto adjust. Let's see what auto adjust does. What's auto adjust do? I have to read more. There's a little button at the top that says auto adjust. So I'm not 100% sure what that does. Again, got to look into it. So anyways, we'll go back, control. I can control the brightness of this. I can control the temperature. So there's the temperature of my nozzle. If I want to go up to 200, I can tap that and enter the temperature directly. Okay. ABS preset, PLA preset. I can go there, control the temperature of my bed. I can turn my fan on and off if I want to do that. Okay. Language, I don't necessarily want to change. I can change the beep. I can turn this to a very annoying like that, or Okay, or I can actually turn the beep right off because, yeah, the beep can be annoying. So, anyways, so we have that, and then so we have the beeps. We have then we have reset to factory. Again, fan on, fan off, and then if you hook lights up, you can turn your LEDs on and off from there. And then we go to the printing menu. I happen to have an SD card in here, and it's going to list all your files that you can print. So if I say go ahead and print this one, I can actually add an animal texture to it. So I haven't tried that yet. If you look at the box, it shows a feature. Whoops. Which one goes boom? Yeah, on the box it has a thing, and it kind of shows an animal texture. That camera's terrible for this. Hang on, it's probably better to show you on this one. So you can kind of see the texture on this dog here. I think it's similar to the what's that other slicer? I'm just so bad. There's one of the slicers that has a textured feature to it. It was a beta thing. Oh, I'm terrible. It's a slicer I don't use. Anyways, I haven't printed a file from this yet. We'll try this on the next stream, but yeah, so. And then there we go to tune. We can tune stuff from here. We can speed it up. We can do the baby stepping after we start printing and so forth and so on. Okay. So there we go. Now to get back, I can hit play and it'll print that file. I think you can get a display of the file if you save it as a. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen here. So as I say here, if I go here while it's printing, I can adjust the temperature of the nozzle, temperature of the bed. I can adjust the speed from 100% to whatever, and then I can adjust there's a baby stepping right there. So. And again, I can turn the fan off or on. And if I had a light, I can turn the light on or off. So, and then we can go back and then back again to the main screen. So that's pretty much it. So that's just sort of like an enhanced touchpad for this. I haven't tried this on another printer yet. I know John didn't have much luck getting this going on anyone. So but this worked on this. I will try this on a couple of the other printers. I'll try it on the Ender 2 Pro that's behind me. I'll try it on the King Rune, and we'll see how that works. But yeah, that's oops. That's it's kind of cool. The other thing I don't like in the side here. Let me see. This camera's probably better to show this. In the side here, there's the SD card, micro SD. I don't have fingernails. I mean, that's just who I am. Even if I cannot get that out, I can't get that out without taking, I don't know, where's my tweezers? I need something that I can point in there. I don't know, like this, to actually get that card out. Okay, it's too far in, basically. Yeah, there we are. So, when I want to put the card in, when I want to put the micro SD in, okay, I can't. You'd think you'd just be able to push it like this and push it. I can't even get a part nail that I don't have in there and push it in. I actually have to take something very tiny, and I actually have to push that card in till it clicks to go in. So I don't like that. To me, I shouldn't have to struggle to put a micro SD card in and out like that. So if I had fingernails, yeah, maybe it's different. But I don't know. When I don't bite my nails, I keep them short anyways. But yeah, that's to me that sucks. But anyways, and you can hook a USB up here just like you would to your regular printer if you want to hook this up to Pronterface or something like that. So there's your USB port to go to your computer. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. This shows the current status of the printer, 260. We're doing 100 speed. The Z offset is nothing, and yeah. So there we go. That is the Creality pad, or touch pad, whatever you want to call it. So let's power this fucker off. No, I didn't say FU. I said sucker. I'm just going to raise this up a bit. There we go. Will not work for USB stick. No, I've heard that. Yeah, no, you have to use the micro SD. I'd love it to work for a USB stick because what a pain in the arse, as I say, to get that little micro SD card out. I mean, it should not be that difficult. It really shouldn't. So anyways, let me unplug this guy. We will try next stream when we'll do the E-step calibrations that we have since we got the new feeder on this. We'll do the E-step calibration. We'll do the firmware update. I'll check and see if there's a firmware update. We'll do that live, and we'll hook this back up. We'll hook this back up and try a print from this just to see what happens and see, you know, as it's printing, what information it gives us. And I'll try and come up with a way to manage this. Now, that was one option, as I said, and the other option, and I do have another Ender 3 V2 I could put it on, is this is the touch screen, and this is pretty much the same touch screen. I think it's exactly the same touch screen. Yeah, it is. That is on the CR6 SE. So, yeah. I don't know if I like the pad and it works. Hey, maybe I'll put the pad on more than one machine because I happen to have a second pad down here. So we'll see. But for now, we'll just put this little guy back on. So the pad would eliminate this. I think I would buy a longer, quote unquote, phone cable for it to allow, and then have it magnetically mounted, just to allow to be able to actually just take it away from the machine and control it. So yeah. Oh, that was a lot of work for a little demo. Look at that. But we got a few things accomplished tonight, and for a lot of you guys on the stream, I know it's repetitive and probably non-informative, but for somebody who's just got a new printer, those are just a few things that you can do to enhance the performance of the printer. The leveling knobs, at very minimum, I would recommend replacing those springs. The knobs, you don't have to. At least replace the springs and get them tightened up as much as you can while maintaining the levelness of your bed. And don't forget, you need to possibly maybe need to adjust that homing sensor for the Z-axis. But yeah, as I say, this will ensure that your bed stays level a lot longer than with the other ones that could even vibrate loose just from the operation of the printer. So better option, hell with touchscreen. Just use Jersey's UI on the stock LCD, but flash Jersey. I have to look into that. I have not heard of that. So I have not heard of that. Does Jersey UI, but I need the other board, right? You said I need the 3.2 or the 427 board. So yeah. So anyways, DWIT doing a series for clipperizing the Ender. That would be an interesting series. I would need an assistant on that one. I'm still kind of green behind the ears, if you want to call it, as far as clipper goes. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up to some of these comments here. Tim needs tweezers to handle it. Oh, come on, Liam. Anyways, it probably worked for me, tripod, because it's a Canadian thing. I don't know. You might have a bad unit, possibly. I don't, I don't know why it worked for me. But again, this is on one machine. The beauty of it is this is kind of, I can basically take this around and put it on any machine and try it. What do we have? 5 minutes left in my stream. I was saying I could just whip down the, heck, hang on. You know what? Let's push this aside. What the heck? How many people are watching me do this? 37. What the heck? Let's try a non-Ender printer. Let's pull this guy down. just because it's here. And this guy, let's just see. Let's just do this. Because I can. This one, yeah, but this has a different USB port. I'm going to have to grab a different cable. That's fine. It should still work. Let's steal my power from the Ender. And because if I'm not mistaken, the King Rune uses, what is it? You need a Marlin firmware or something like that? I don't know. Oh, squeak. Let's plug this back into power. Oh, let's, I need a different USB cable. I have, is it in here? No. It is. I need just the old style USB. Where do people put USB cables to go and die? I have some. Oh, come on, Mr. Timothy. I just saw one. Y'all know what I'm looking for. I just had one. Oh, I know where I put it. Aha, right here. So we go from this one. That'll go into this one. Okay, let's turn the printer on. Let's plug this into the power. Let's see if it works on the King Rune. Okay, screen is powered up. Let's see if it works on the King Rune. It should just work, I assume. So we got this all plugged in and geared. Let's go ready print. Let's home. And it's working. It's homing the King Rune. Okay. So far it's working. Homed it. Okay, let's move one of the axes. Let's move Z. It's working. 10 more. Okay, let's move X. Let's move Y. Okay, and let's try and heat up the hot end. Preheat PLA. Let's see if we're heating. I'm not even going to look at the screen on this. This King Rune display is plugged in, yes. Okay, let's just see. I got to feel this and see if it's actually heating. Um, 19. The bed is heating. Hot end, 20. It's heating slow, unless it's doing the bed first. It could just have gone up that 1 degree because of my hot finger on it. The bed is definitely heating. Okay, let's just see. Let's let the bed get up to temperature and see if it actually see if it starts heating the nozzle. You can unlock the motors from here. Oh, no, you can't. Off. Yeah, you can. Motors unlocked. Motors locked. Yeah. Okay, the bed is 56. As soon as it gets to 60, it should start heating the nozzle. Good night, Matt. Do me a favor and make a video that it works with or without the display. Reference my video. All these trolls in my comments. Okay, will do. So far, it's working with the display, and it worked with the display on the E3 V2. So, okay, yeah. So the bed's heated now, and Let's just see. Yes, the hot end is heating. That's not a burn. That's just heat. So the hot end is heating. So we are heating. Let's go back. What else can I check on this to see? Let's do control. Let's check let's home it again. And then we'll do the auto. Let's see if it recognizes the bed size for the auto leveling, or for the assisted leveling. Okay, so if I now go back and I go leveling and go this one. Okay, so it is. And it's not. Well, let's try the next one. Next one. So it is kind of detecting the bed size too. Probably from the firmware. So the auto leveling is actually going to all four corners. So it is detecting the bed size. Okay, which is cool. Okay. Then Z is moving up. Yeah. So it appears to work for this. So I don't think we have to toy with this anymore. So that seems to work on the King rune. So I'll try it on various other ones as well. Let me unplug this. What is the noise? The beeping. The noise is the beeping from the display. That can be turned off or changed, or yeah, it's annoying. But I just wanted to do that so you guys could hear me pressing the buttons. So let me put this back up. Unplug. Put this guy back up here. And put this guy back up top here. There we go. There we go. So yeah, so Ender 3 V2 and the King rune. I'll try it. Do I dare try it on the Prusa? The Prusa would probably be insulted. So it seems to work. And I'll try it on the other ones for you, John. I'll try it with the I'll try it with the screens attached and detached. But on the Ender 3 V2, it worked for both. On the King rune, I actually got to get in underneath and undo the screen. But on the King rune, I'm actually planning on putting a different screen holder on the King rune anyways. So it brings the screen up and off to the side. So when I do that, I'll test it with the screen plugged in and unplugged as well to make sure that works. But yeah, it seems to be, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So we'll test it with a bunch of other printers. CR6 SE, I'll try it on even though I wouldn't use it. And I'll try it on the Prusa Press Creality. I'll try it on the Prusa just for the hell of it. And what else can I try it on? The Prusa, the MK3, I can try it on the Mini. I'll try it on the Ender 2 Pro. I'll try it on the, I wonder if I should try it on my King rune or on my FlashForge Creator 3. And what else? And I can actually try it on the, I wonder if it would work on the Deltas. I don't know. So we'll see. But it worked with the stock screen. The trolls on your video say otherwise. Yeah, no, it worked. You saw that the Ender 3 V2 screen was still plugged in. And on the King rune, I couldn't get at the screen to unplug it, so it worked fine. We'll do that. We'll get those. We'll get those trolls to, turn their ideas around. We're a troll-proof community. So it looks like I'm just checking the messages here. Wonder if I can get that. Let's see. Let me see if I can show this. Can I download this? I have to try something, and then just before we end the stream, I have to do this just because. Desktop. There we go. Let's see if this works. We have to try this just because. Where to go? Yesterday I was on Jerry's stream and I was kind of forced, not forced, but I ended up having to shut down my computer and update, and it ended up updating to Windows 11. which worked out pretty good. It's not bad, but I'm not used to it. I'm not used to the interface on Windows 11 yet. So, what thing, Mike? Oh, that thing that we were just using was the Creality. It was the Creality 3D pad that I was using there. So, tried it on 2 different machines. Tried it on the Ender 3 V2 and tried it on the Kingroon KP3S. Yeah. Where's my? I just lost. There we are. There's my StreamYard window. And I need to come under here, and I need to add this. Or is it? Oh, do I do that? I'm trying to accommodate a special request here. Is that the right one? Let's see if this works. Oh, here we go. I want to show everybody a cool picture. Look at that. I like it, Jerry. Who is that? Who is that guy? I don't even know if he's still on. Are you still on? There we go. Yeah, that was the we're troll experts. Yeah, we are. Your computer is sold. It will not update to Windows 11. Yeah, I must have told it to update down the road because I rebooted it because I was having an issue in Twitch. And when I rebooted it, it just took forever and it didn't update. And it came back on and it said, "Bite me." Bite you? Why would I bite you? I didn't do that. So you have to figure out who sent that to me. It depends on what links you want to post, Spartacus. What kind of links are you looking for? Yeah. It's all in good fun, Kieran. Anyways, I think we're pretty much ready to wrap it up before we get out of hand here. You have a link to Jersey firmware to help this guy out. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll mod you temporarily here, Barticus. I'm trying to limit my mods is all. And go ahead now. You should be able. No, wrong guy. Hang on, Barticus. I'm going to mod you, and then go ahead and put that link. There you go, Barticus. Go ahead and put that link before I end my stream. I'll have a look at it for sure. Yeah. I know, Kieran. I would try that if I had one. I don't think they sell it. I don't think they sell it locally here. So every time the Evil Empire runs an update, you lose the left speaker. Yeah, when I did the updates yesterday and I booted it up and realized that looks different and checked it was Windows 11, I had to reconnect all my cameras, my microphone. I had to reconnect everything in OBS, and I got it done. So, yeah. So, okay, so we got some pretty good stuff done today. We'll continue the Ender 3v2 enhancement series next week. We'll do a couple other things. I have a hot end. I want to eventually, I'm going to update the fans, et cetera, et cetera. Again, for anybody that's new to this and watching, these are not necessary modifications. These are enhancements. The ones I did today, the 2 I did today, are the 2 that I do recommend at minimum: the bed leveling knobs and springs, and the feeder, or the extruder, whatever you want to call it. Get rid of that plastic one and get yourself an all metal or aluminum dual gear one. It'll serve you better in the long run. I promise you that. So demod before you forget. Demod. Yes. Okay. You put the link there. Boom, boom, boom. You stop your laptop after upgrading Windows 11 because some things have been behind the scenes of what Microsoft is trying to do with Windows. Oh, okay. All you need to do is download the proper bin file. There are version 4.2, 4.27 boards. Okay, perfect. Did you put the link? I don't see the link. It should have let you put a link. If not, Barticus, you can always email me the link at DWIT3DCanada@gmail.com, and I'll make sure to mention that link in my next Sunday stream. Or if you want to go on Messenger or something and message me the link right now really quick, I can put it on. But we're going to wrap up here shortly. Oh, the link is further up. Let's see. How far up? It's not showing up for me. Let me check the StreamYard chat. See if it showed up here. No, I don't see the link, Barticus. So yeah, I don't see it. For some reason, it's not letting the link, and that is a YouTube thing. It's YouTube is. Oh, there we are. There we are. I see it now. Okay, so there's the link. Perfect. Good. I will pin that link. There we go. I'll pin that link up top. And anybody that wants to check it out, and I'm just going to click that link myself right now and leave that window open and check it out after. I will check that out after the stream and see what goes on, but I've pinned it to the top right now. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. The hybrid drive you were looking at is what I would upgrade the Ender 3 V2 if you had one, the hybrid drive. Interesting. Okay. I got a couple options for hot ends. I've got a water-cooled thing coming in that I'm interested to try out. So we have a few things coming. Demod and ban. There we go. Hey, you want me to demod and ban you, non-fam? Okay. Let's see what I can do here. I don't have a ban option, no, I'm just kidding. No, we're all good. Yeah. So, okay, thanks, Barticus. I will look into that either after the stream. I got to get a little bite to eat, or this week I'll look into it for sure. It should be a quiet week for me at the full-time gig. So, come on, non-fam, you're all good. So yeah, we got a few things coming up. We're going to continue this series. It's probably going to be another 1 or 2 streams for this series. There's a few things to do on this. I want to do some test prints to show you. I've got to print another glass print bed that I want to try out on it as well, that I've had for a while, supposedly scratch proof. So we're going to give that a test. They sent it to me to try it, and I thought, yeah, let's try it out on a printer that's not their printer. So we'll get to that later. We've got the CR30 coming up eventually here. I'm kind of glad I waited because the hype on the CR30 has died down, and then this gives me a chance to just bring it up and try it now that all the hype is done and I've forgotten everything that I've learned about it by watching other people stream, so it's fresh for me. And hopefully Richard's going to come out and help me with that. Richard from the First Layer. He wanted to do that. Does your print shop slow in January? We should pick up by about the second week in January, but it all depends on what's happening with the world crisis that's going on right now. I don't get into that on this channel too much, but theoretically, we should pick up about the second and third week in January. We should have a good, winter's usually really good for us, so we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I don't know. I got mine with the Mike. I got mine with the Kickstarter. I've had mine sitting for close to a year now, so I don't know what I'm getting. So we'll see what happens. So, but meantime, and in between time, oh, okay. Yeah, we got some stuff coming up. We got, as I say, the CR30 coming up. We've got some upgrades to do on these two guys on the Prusas. We got upgrade kits for the Plus. For those guys, I've got a laser to build. I've got a few things coming up down the pipe, so it's going to be hopefully an exciting 2022. I'm coming into this year with my 1,000+ subscribers. I'm almost at 1,200 now. So if you're new here tonight, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down here. Ooh. And I'm going to hopefully produce some more relevant and helpful content for people this year. So we'll see what happens. So I am going to call this a night, and I want to thank everybody who's hung out this far. Looks like we still have 31 people watching, and we have 50 thumbs up. I love it. I don't see any dislikes, but I don't know if I would see them with the way YouTube's doing things now. So, but thank you everybody for participating tonight. Let me remove this before I get in trouble. There we go. And I want to thank everybody for watching. Any comments, questions, please leave them after the video. It'll be live on YouTube. Not live, it'll be posted on YouTube. If you have any comments, suggestions, criticisms, anything, go ahead and post them and leave in the comments in the comment section. Any comment, negative or positive, is good on YouTube, right? Comments are good, period. So thanks, Kieran. Everybody stay safe. Thank you, everybody that's come out. If you're new here, thank you for coming out, and we'll see everybody next week. Okay, take care. We'll see you on the streams. Bye for now.